On today's episode of Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast, we're going to be talking about legacy, leadership, and learning with Jodi Hooper and Val Ovalle. Hi, I'm Karen Cooper, a wife, mom of three, real estate broker, team owner, and founder of Empowering Women in Real Estate. As a realtor, I've personally helped well over 700 families in my career, and now I help thousands of women from all across the country balance real life and real estate through daily inspiration, motivation, and actionable plans to increase their success. Listen in as I share stories and tips from my life and business and interview some of my favorite people. Hi there. I'm glad you're here for today's episode. So I think this is an interesting conversation on today's episode. Whether you are a new or newer agent, or you're thinking about getting your license and you're not sure where to start or how to get your business going, or you are a experienced agent and you're, kind of maybe at that phase of your career where you're not necessarily interested in taking on all the business or working quite as much, starting to maybe kind of think about what's next for you. I think this episode is really going to interest you. I'm interviewing two agents on my team. Jodi has been with us literally from the beginning. We've worked together for 21 years. She's been with our team literally since day one. And she has, and you'll hear her say it, but she has been, kind of on and off the past many years thinking about, is she ready to retire? She wants to travel more, all those sorts of things. And I had approached her a few times about mentorship, and it just wasn't always the right fit, or she just wasn't really interested. And when I met Val last year, and brand new agent, and came to us and we were talking about her business and her goals, and I knew I needed to have a mentor for her. We do have a mentorship program on our team where the mentor is paid a certain percentage on the first couple of transactions that they help the mentee with, and they, kind of help them to get their business off the ground, as well as having a revenue share and sponsorship component so that there is a long-term income that comes from that relationship as well, just beyond the mentorship period. And I felt like Val and Jodi would really click. And not only have they really clicked, it has been just the most amazing story, connection. They're the best of friends. Val was top producer 3 months into getting her business started. And all of that is great. And you're going to hear a lot of that from the perspective of Val and the new agent. But what I really want you to hear is from Jodi. And there have been multiple experiences over the past, 6 months since I've partnered them together, where Jodi has come to me and said, or, said in meetings or whatever, I didn't know I needed this. And it's re-energized her. It's re-energized her business. It's opened a lot of opportunities for her. Now she's thinking forward and partnering in business so that she's not having to do everything herself anymore. And who better to trust than someone that you've trained? So it's like the modern mentorship model. And I didn't want to call this episode that because I thought that, if you hear mentorship, you're going to think that it's just for the new agent. But really, I think this episode is almost more for the experienced agent who's starting to kind of think about what's next for them. So I'm excited for you to hear this. I would love to hear what you think. Come and message me on Instagram. I'm at karen.w.cooper. And until next time, stay well. Jodi and Val, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys are the cutest. I'm so happy to have you on today. Before we jump in, I want you to introduce yourselves. So, Jodi, we've known each other for more than 20 years now. Tell us about you and your real estate story.
I got licensed in 2005, and I have been working with my people, you and Vicky, the entire time that I've been a realtor, even though we've bounced around to a few firms. And I always say that I'm going to retire, and then I don't. But I
We
think,
have heard that from you many times, actually,
yeah,
over the
for
years.
probably 10 years. Because I still really like the business, but I don't want to do all the business. And when in the past somebody has been proposed as a potential mentee for me, the one person that I remember, we weren't personality matches. And then, well, I'll get into that later.
Yes, yes.
But now being a mentor is truly like the beginning of my retirement years. So, especially when I can find somebody whom I just adore. So,
I know it has been like it's been such a beautiful thing, and that's really what this episode is going to be about, that we're going to really dive into. So you're Jodi Hooper. You're a mom you have one son. He's a
I
junior
have
in high
one
school this
son.
year.
That's correct. Yep. Wants to be a tennis instructor. Bizarre.
Okay.
And I foster puppies and like animals more than humans. And I live in downtown Leesburg and know everybody in my neighborhood. And that's really the way I do business. So,
Yes. And you love your people. And when they're your people,
yeah.
like I have never known you to have a client that did not, unless they were like one that needed to be DTM, dead to me, then, right,
Yeah.
which was that they become like your friends and family. Like they are
Oh,
your
they
people.
are. Yeah. Yeah. People come hang out at my house. So,
Which I love.
yeah.
Val, would you please introduce yourself and tell us about you and your real estate journey thus far?
Sure, sure. So my name is Valerie Ovalle. Everyone calls me Val. And I just recently, September of last year, got my real estate license, but I actually joined the team in late August before getting my license in. And real estate is just something I have always wanted to pursue. It's my dream career. Of course, it's scary, it's 100% commission based, but I finally decided to make that leap last year, and I found your team on Google. Everybody said as soon as you pass your real estate exam, all the brokerages are going to call you. I didn't get any calls. In fact, it was like 30 days after I passed, all the calls came in. So there was some sort of delay in getting the word out.
Shame on them. They missed out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I was just doing research at home, Googling best brokerage near me. And I spoke with, I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 5. And I made the decision. I spoke with you a couple times to join our team. You let Jodi and I meet each other first to make sure we'd click. Yeah. And we did. And it's, 6 months in, and it's best decision. Best decision.
And you refresh my memory. Did you take early retirement, or you were laid off from your corporate career?
So I did deferred resignation. So a little bit of my career background, I spent 15 years in client relations, account management in the logistics industry. And then 3 years worked for study abroad in Barcelona with American students that went to study there. But most recently, I was with the government, and I took the deferred resignation option. So it gave me a little bit of a cushion so I can pursue, So that's when I decided that now it's now or never,
So your license was, and I want to share this story. Your license was official in September, and you were our December top producer. So 3 months later, you did what? Wasn't like 1.5 million in volume or something in December?
Just under that. Yep.
Yeah.
1.47.
Amazing. And certainly some of that has to do with the mentorship, right?
A ton. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I didn't source the leads. The leads came from her family and friends who are her biggest fans behind me. So, truly she has a natural group of people who want her to win. Yes. Which is wonderful.
Which is huge. Yes. It's huge. Yeah. And, I remember when I was talking to you, Val, and, first met you and we were having the first conversation, and I was starting to think about our mentorship program that we have on the team. And so as I'm listening to you and I'm trying to think, okay, who is going to be a good mentor? Either like just from like a personality perspective, which can sometimes be hard to fit because everybody's always on their best behavior on those first conversations.
Right.
And then geography, right? You guys don't live too far from each other. And so my first thought was Jodi. And Jodi, we had this conversation before, like, and you alluded to it, right? There have been some potential mentee matches in the past that maybe wasn't a good fit, or that you've just said no, right? Like there have been times
Right.
when I just said to you, hey, what do you think? And you're like, nah. So before you even met Val, what was it that made you say yes?
I like the idea of being able to share what I know. And I
Yeah.
think I'm a very open and sometimes way too open personality. I tell it like it is. And so I wanted to just make sure that we would be compatible. But I also felt like maybe this is my path headed
Yes.
towards retirement, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
what
Yep.
a natural, and the bonus part was, I got paid a little bit from Val's transactions. And I thought,
Yeah.
wow, this could be a really good path for me that
Yeah.
I can mentor, get a
Yes.
little bit of income, and then pass my business as I start doing less
Yep.
to somebody that is trained to do
Oh,
things my
so
way,
smart. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's brilliant. It's really like a win-win all the way
Oh,
around, right?
absolutely.
Um, and so I remember it was maybe our team advance last year. So that would have been just a couple months after Val, kind of came into your world and got started and you
Right.
had been mentoring. And you said you were like gushing about this mentorship. And you said that it was like, it was making you a better realtor. I remember you
Yeah,
said that.
absolutely.
And it was like the thing that you didn't know that you needed. Like, what about that? Is it the
So
energy?
I think, real estate is hard, right? And this
Yeah.
past year, whew, it has been everything that you could possibly anticipate,
Yeah.
and then a little more extra stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I think it helped me to not just talk the talk, but also walk the walk and say, well, this is the way it's supposed to be done,
Yeah.
And so I encourage Val to do the right way. And then sometimes I just am like, well, this is the way I do it,
This is how you
But
should do it, but here's how I do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can cut some corners here and there. And so I think it has reinforced for me how, number one, this is a difficult career. It's
Yeah.
not for everybody. I
Yeah.
feel like people think, oh, you're just opening doors. And it's like, it is way more than that. So it's helped me to be more focused. I still don't market to anybody, but I'm encouraging her, do the things, and I'm constantly pushing and reinforcing, and also just giving her an insight into so many weird transactions that have gone on this year.
Yes.
So
Which
foreclosures, short sales, and foreclosure auctions. So, I mean, it's
yeah.
crazy.
That
Yeah.
real life experience is really what's so critical. And I think that's what's so hard sometimes for new agents to like get off the ground is because,
Yeah.
very little of what we do ever happens perfectly and seamlessly. Like I could actually probably count those transactions more on one or two hands over the
Right.
course of my career than everything else. And
Yeah.
it's hard, it's like almost impossible to learn that unless you're, part of a team or a group where people are
Right.
sharing, or a mentorship program like this where you're learning from that. So Val, for you as a brand new agent coming into the business, what has this been like for you having a mentor, having a strong mentor with Jodi? Like, what has that done for your confidence and just helping you get your business going?
So much. So I will say one of my biggest fears starting out was I never wanted to wake up in the morning and think, well, what do I do now?
What do I
Or
do
what
now?
do I do today? So being part of a team is great. You offer so much guidance. And then having Jodi is amazing because on top of her experience, she's just a great human being. And you can be put with the greatest, most experienced realtor in the world. But if you don't have that like open line of communication and feel comfortable approaching them with
Yes.
questions, which we have that 100% both ways, it's everything. I never wake up and wonder, what am I going to do today? Or who would I ask for this?
Right.
I
Yeah.
know we have a great team that, can answer questions for me too, but Jodi and I literally work side by side on all the things since I started, and being able to learn and accompany her with her clients while she's helping me with my clients. It's just, I mean, I don't know how I would have done it any other way.
She's probably got 2 years of experience in the last 6 months.
Oh,
I mean, truly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. So tell us kind of like what that looks like, because you guys have learned like a good rhythm. I mean, you guys are so cute. We're always saying like how cute you guys, because you're like sisters right now. You guys are like the best of buddies and friends. But what does your like day to day look like? Is there a structure? I mean, Jodi, you mentioned, or Val, you mentioned you go and shadow Jodi on appointments. Like, what have you worked on?
So typically we know each other's schedules, and she comes into my house, and
We're here now.
we're here in my house now. There's no dogs, sadly.
Yeah.
My dog loves her, so
That's how you know she's good. Yeah, that's
right. Exactly. She gets all wiggly. So we typically know what the schedule is for like the week, and have sort of an idea of, all right, well, we'll be working together on this, and we'll do that. You could do that on your own. Like, I don't do any of her marketing stuff, but she still joins like the accountability calls to do the marketing, the things that she needs to do as a new agent. And I have been known to be like, did you get it done?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And then we have one transaction that has been a long one that was supposed to close in January. That was supposed to be a regular sale. 2 days before closing, it became a short sale because the seller is working with a limited service agency, and they had not done the math. Turns out she was 6 months behind in her mortgage.
Wow.
And so before we knew any of that was going to happen, as part of my new chapter, referred Val is getting a portion of the commission on that one. And it's, the clients or somebody, I sold their townhouse. We help them find this property. So it's been very open, transparent. They know she's new, but she is, she's participating in the transaction to see all the things.
Right.
And so I'm trying to do that as much as possible. I had one recent sale that I was like, I really need the paycheck, so I'm going to keep this one. But it was an an investment property for my friends and neighbors. And then I said they want to rent it, so Val did the rental.
Oh, that's so brilliant. Yes.
So then she can then potentially work those people to become buyers one day, the tenants, and also gave her experience in doing rentals, because I don't do rentals anymore.
Yeah.
So it's such a good ongoing, like anything I can do to give her a new experience. Like, we're going to do a well and septic inspection next week. Woohoo!
Gonna learn a lot from that one. Yes.
But we're doing it in Great Falls. So, there's that. So,
well, when Jodi said like we kind of know each other's schedule every week, we never sat down and said, okay, this is how we're going to do things.
No.
It just naturally flowed and came about. And then we're kind of set in this place now where this is how we do it,
And we usually have food too. So
no, well, food's important. So I think what I'm hearing here, which I think is so good, is that beyond this being like a mentor-mentee relationship, and then of course a friendship, but what I'm hearing is a lot of like collaboration in the business, right? Jodi, you work with the client, but then when it's time to list their property for rent, then Val is kind of stepping in there. So it's kind of opening up a whole nother opportunities, right? For both of you, really.
Absolutely. Yes. So I'll give an example of 20 years, 6 months, right? Yeah. So we were at our Great Falls listing that will hopefully be ratified today with our buyers, I should say. And
so this was yesterday, right?
This was, it was yesterday. We were talking through the terms. We had the listing agent was present because they have to be present. And our buyers were there, and we were talking through the terms of the potential deal should they decide to move forward. We found out that the sellers needed a rent back. Our buyer is pregnant, really wants to be in that home sooner than later. Yeah. And one of the things that, I said, all right, so we'll settle in May and blah, blah. And Val was like, well, they probably want to get their payment sooner, right? So she suggested we do an earlier settlement. And I'm like, great, then we can get paid.
I said, do an earlier settlement. Yeah. And also do the earlier settlement. It's 2 months rent back. But the whole point of this is and also this is my first experience with off market that I'm learning.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want the home to hit the market. So let's
need
make
to be
it good.
Accommodating.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But I was just like, Jodi, da, 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 da. And she was like, genius.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and thinking, I know what I should be doing, I just need a clear plan and follow through, I want to tell you about the Empowering Women in Real Estate Inner Circle. This is not a mindset membership. It's tactical. Inside the Inner Circle, I teach my exact real estate systems, the same ones my team and I have used for more than a decade to build consistent referral-based businesses. We cover how to generate business through your database, geographic farming, social media, and relationship-based prospecting, right down to the templates, scripts, and workflows. Every week, you get a plan of the week that tells you exactly what to do step by step, so you're never guessing what matters most. You also get access to the high-level monthly trainings I do for my real estate team, a dedicated monthly mastermind, quarterly business reviews, and annual business planning. If you're done piecing things together and want a proven system you can actually follow, the Inner Circle was built for you. You can learn more at empoweringwomeninrealestate.com, click on Inner Circle, and when you use promo code FIRSTMONTHFREE, you'll get your first month of the program on me.
So it's very much, just because she has less experience doesn't mean it's not as valuable. So one of the things that I spend as much time as I can doing is when I'm interacting with agents that I like, that I value, I make sure she meets them so that she is building those relationships that become lifelong career relationships. Yep. And I also give warnings about the ones that are not the favorites.
Absolutely.
And sadly, we've already gotten burned on one of them. So,
you know what? Mentorship, I think, it is not just, hey, here's how you fill out a contract, right?
Oh, yeah.
And making sure you meet the deadlines. It's so many things. And like the intangible of what you just shared, Jodi, because the longer you're in business, we make relationships. We build relationships with the other top players in our market.
Right.
And that helps you, right? That helps you to
100%.
find listings for your buyers. It helps you to get your offers approved. I mean, it helps you in so many ways. And the fact that you are taking the time to make sure that Val is getting introduced to those people so that now she, as an agent who's been in business for 6 months, is starting to be able to form those relationships or have that knowledge of those people and also who to avoid is huge.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And that's how we ended up getting to see this home yesterday because I built a relationship with this Great Falls agent and she sent me the property and she said, I think this would be a good fit for your buyers.
So good.
So, I mean, who matters in every aspect of the world, but also especially in real estate. Having the right relationships makes a huge difference. So, I'll be cheering for her from the sidelines one day. So
I don't know.
I love what you said. There's been a couple things you said, Jodi, too, that I think are really important, especially for those of us who, and then I want to hit on some more things for you too, Val, as the new agent, but for those of us who've been around a while, right, who've been in business for a long time, I think sometimes there can be a tendency to be, shut off. Right. We don't want to hear from other people. We don't think we can learn from younger, newer agents or people newer to the business, or just a real kind of lack of willingness to be open, because that's what you're doing is you're being open to thinking about okay, I'm probably at some point, maybe I really will want to retire one day, or you just want to do a little less business. And so now through this, and the fact that you're learning from Val, because we can we all learn from each other.
He and I have very different skill sets. She can do math in her head and stuff. And mine, I'm just not built that way. So we complement each other in that way as well. So I'll, be like, what's that number? But we also speak openly. Like we were talking openly yesterday in front of that other agent and the clients, and she made that suggestion. And I was like, way to go, Val. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
That's
good.
a great way to go. So we ran it by our clients and said, what days work for you? Okay, we'll pick that, and hopefully we'll be ratified shortly. So,
Val, for you as a new agent, what are some of the top things that you feel like you've kind of learned just, as a new agent getting started, maybe some specific things you've learned through your mentorship or from Jodi? What are some of the most valuable, helpful things you've learned?
Well, something that I learned from having a mentor, and I wouldn't have been able to if I hadn't, and you touched on this in your podcast about confidence, is that you can do all the studying, all the research, but you actually learn by doing the things.
Absolutely.
And as a new agent, we necessarily may not have the actual work to do starting out. So having Jodi, my mentor, who has her business already built up, has things going on, I got to jump right in and do the things. I didn't have to wait till I got my first, contract deal to write up a contract. I got to sit there and do it with her. So scheduling appointments, learning how to use, there's so many different systems to learn, like from Showing Time to Century Lock, and you have to order all these things and do all this. And I'm like, is this connected? So learning just the specifics on how to do, like, I was so scared opening my first lockbox. I was like, what do you mean my face will just open it with my phone? I don't. So I was afraid to show clients a house by myself. So I was like, let me come with you.
Yes.
So if it doesn't open for your clients, you're there as backup,
right. Yes.
So I think it's just being able to do everything hands-on, not just learning from computers, the stuff you learn online, through trainings. Sure. Being able to do.
Once you get your license, you're not qualified to do anything. Technically, you're a realtor, but that's it.
Well, I was just going to say that, like, the course, like, it teaches you the law, which is important, but it literally teaches you nothing else. And it is. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned like the lockbox, Val, because that seems like such a small thing, but when you've never done it before and you're standing there and you've got the clients and it's like, it's so stressful. And what can happen, I think, what I see happen with a lot of new agents is they become so overwhelmed by just the massive number of details and things that they don't know and they don't understand, that then that overwhelm kind of keeps them from actually doing things, right? And taking action. And so you're able to relieve the pressure here by shadowing Jodi or, doing things together. And I think that's just amazing.
When we first started, I would say, Val came over to my house pretty much every day, like when we would have free time where we were not client facing, and we went through, like, there's how to do this, here's how to do that. And a lot of times it was based on, well, we have a project or a client or something to do it for. So here's how we're, let's work through it. And so sitting at my kitchen table, it's now my new office, because this is where we just go through the stuff.
I got to learn on real life situations. It wasn't just practice.
Right.
It's totally different.
Which is totally different. And as Jodi mentioned, all of the transactions we've worked on together, everyone has been different, unique, special, all the words to describe it. It's there,
Yeah, no, for sure. So Val, for you, what would you say to a new agent? And one thing that I know about you, that I see about you as well, that I think a lot of people coming into the business don't do, is there is a proactiveness about you, right? Like, and I think a lot of people will kind of sit back and wait for somebody to say, hey, you should do this, or hey, come along. But I don't see that with you. Like, I see you kind of taking initiative with things. For somebody who's new, who's thinking about getting their license, or they're getting their license, obviously, we think having a mentor is it's the only way we bring somebody onto our team. I mean, Jodi knows for years we wouldn't hire new agents because we really believe it needs this. And so it's been great to have this mentorship program. But what advice would you give to a new agent, either getting started, what they should be looking for with a team, a brokerage, a mentor, all of that kind of stuff?
Well, in getting started, and this is something another team member on our team taught me in the beginning, that analysis paralysis.
Paralysis, yes.
So I had never heard that saying before, but I was overthinking like my business cards, my headshots. I remember texting you about my headshots, Karen, and you were like, get them all, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, I was over like, what should my email address be? Do I set up a different Instagram page? So one is just do.
Yes.
Just do the things. And we talk about this a lot, that a lot of us are perfectionists and we want to make sure it's perfect before we do it. But that's not the right way to go. You just have to do it and learn as you go.
Yeah.
So that would be one piece of advice. Another thing, like you said, joining a team is how I, starting off especially, knew what to do. I know the things to do, the processes, our daily business builders.
Yeah.
And had I joined as an independent agent, you know, I met with one brokerage who did say, why would you want to be part of a team? Like, you know, just from meeting you, you're so great and you have a great sphere and a network and you don't need a team. You're going to be great by yourself. And I said, I don't want to wake up and not know what to do or not know who to go to. And they were like, well, we have this office you can come to. And I met them at that office. And I looked around and I'm like, no one is here.
No one's there. Yeah.
And I said, no one is here but you. And I'm pretty sure you only came to meet me.
Yes, that's right.
So,
that's right.
Bam.
I mean, just having a team, having a mentor has made the biggest difference. And I think really expedites the learning.
Yes,
absolutely.
I agree.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, I was just thinking when you mentioned headshots, we did headshots in my backyard with my photographer, who is also a friend.
Yes.
And so I was like, all right, well, we're going to do that. Let's get it done. And then I had a few other people came to, you know, on our team. I was like, all right, this is my person. So let's get it done. But it was for Val. So that she did not have to worry and all the things. So
well, and you helped her to, you know, we do have that analysis paralysis sometimes, and especially when it's something brand new that you don't know and you've never done. And so, you know, having Jodi say, "Okay, come over. My photographer's coming. We're going to do headshots," right? Because I know a lot of agents, like, it takes weeks for them to get headshots done, weeks and weeks, because they're overthinking the outfit and the location and where and who, and you know, just take a picture, right? You know, I think, Val, what you shared is really good advice. And it's unfortunate that other person, you know, was sharing with you, but I think probably they were coming from the point of view of the old school type of team, right?
Yeah.
And Jodi knows because she's been with us for so long. And we started out, like Jodi and Vicki and I, we started out on that very traditional Rainmaker style team. And our team is not that. And we've never been that. And now even still, like there's so much independence with our team members. And because of that, we do have so many that are experienced. But when we do bring in new people like you, you know, you're able to have the benefit of working with those experienced people. So
I think she'll be a mentor within a year. I truly do.
I don't doubt that. Yeah, I don't doubt that. In fact, we just had the conversation before we got on that, you know, Val is going to come onto our leads team. So, which, you know, because of her performance, which we're really proud of. So, Jodi, I want to ask you one more question too, but before I get to that, Val, do you have any kind of parting thoughts for any newbies out there? Anybody who's kind of new in their business or struggling to, you know, failure to launch? Any advice?
Well, first I would say congratulations. It's a big leap, a big risk, and it's scary. So you made the first step by making the decision to get your license. And if you're somewhere where maybe you feel stuck and you're not learning, join a team, find a mentor. I know not every mentor relationship is going to be as close as ours. You know, somebody asked me, you know, so what is it like having a mentor? And Jodi said, did you just tell me you moved in with me? But you just have to find your people and the people that, you know, are actually not only willing, but like want you to succeed and want to help you learn. So don't try to do it alone. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. Like the systems are there. Just find your team, find your group. And I mean, my husband and I talk all the time how fortunate I feel to have found you all right off the bat.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great advice. So Jodi, for you, speak to that, you know, more mature. You have a milestone birthday coming up later this year. Yeah, we don't need to say what it is. You don't have to.
There's a zero involved.
There's a zero. There's a zero involved. And So for that agent that is more experienced in their business like you, right, more than 20 years, and you're at that point where you're kind of like, thinking, I mean, you love to travel, right? And so which is not always conducive to doing a lot of
Right.
travel and having a lot of real estate clients. For somebody who's maybe never been a mentor before, what would you say to them?
I would say if you are open-minded and you like, I guess to me, it's like a buddy system
Yeah.
almost, Like I would feel comfortable with Val when I go to Italy, taking
Uh,
over and
yeah.
watching my business,
Yeah.
and she does things in such a very strategic way. She is very thoughtful. She's not somebody who is going to like put anybody at risk.
Yeah.
And she's just like a sponge. She's learning so much so quickly.
Yeah.
I would say if you enjoy the process of sharing, I think,
Mhm.
it's not really teaching, it's
Yeah.
sharing. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm giving away some of my income so
Hmm.
that she can then, and which I don't have to do, but
Right.
that's part of
Because you're
what
sharing business
my,
with her. Yeah. Hmm.
right. And it's part of my journey, I
Hmm.
think, is that I want to be referring business
Yeah.
more than taking new business.
Yes.
And you might as well do that with somebody that you trust because
Yes.
you taught them how to do it.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think it's and I've talked about retiring for so long. I still need stuff to do. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
besides
Yeah.
puppies. So
Yes.
I would say it's a really natural fit. And it just took me the last 10 years to figure it out. So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
listen, we're all kind of like that. And you said to
yeah,
me, I can't remember when, maybe a text a few weeks ago, that like this is your path. Like
it is
this is you
100%.
see this now, right? This
Yeah.
mentorship and
Yeah.
and doing this partnership. I love too with you guys. It's not like Jodi, you're the mentor that's like up here and all of the information is like being shared downward. It is an equal exchange. Like you're going to trust Val to cover your business while
$100%. Yeah.
which I think says a lot, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to find somebody who has a compatible,
mhm,
I don't know if it's life, but just sort of a mindset,
mhm,
right?
yep. Hmm.
So Val is very positive,
Yeah.
and we have like things in common from a social perspective. And she loves to work out. So do I. She loves
Yeah.
animals, just
Yeah.
certain things, wine.
Yes.
But and travel and all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that helps. It isn't a requirement, but I think like-minded, positive, like I wouldn't do well with somebody who's got more of the Eeyore complex,
Totally. For sure. For
and
sure.
I
For
think,
sure.
and so we'll have moments where like, all right, I need to vent. And then we turn it around,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I think she's been a very positive influence on me as well.
Yes, which I love.
So,
I love that so
yeah.
much. And you on her, obviously. There was
Oh,
a few, what was it, a few months ago, when we were bringing in another agent who is mentored by someone else on the team, and we like to pair people up now and have sisters, right, platinum sisters. And I couldn't get a hold of Val. I didn't realize that she was on an airplane, and
yeah.
because I wanted you, Val, right, you were, Jodi, you were talking about like, Val will be mentoring in the future. I wanted Val to be one of the sisters for this agent, right? One of her co-sponsors. And so I texted you and said, hey, and you like were like, no, I'm going to accept on her behalf. This is,
Yes.
she needs to do this.
I
So
think she accepted this podcast invitation on my behalf
she
too.
I
did
did.
actually. She responded first and said yes. So,
Yeah.
any last words, ladies? Any parting thoughts?
I just want to say that in this relationship here, I am by far the lucky one. I feel like Jodi has like praised me this entire time. And I just want to make sure, I mean, she's amazing. You've known her for many years. I'm so lucky to have known her for the last 6 months. And I know this is a forever friendship.
Aw.
And no, but Jodi's great. And like she doesn't have to do the things. She goes above and beyond as a mentor. She doesn't have to do these things that she does, but it's just who she is. So I'm very lucky. Karen, you are, if you need another career, you could be a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. I try. Jodi, any parting thoughts
And
for
we
you?
came up, I came up with something yesterday. We were in the car
Oh.
because Val is Latina, So that's one track for her business that she can take on, Latina in Loudon.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So
I
that
love
might be a
that.
little subtext for her
Yes.
to add to her.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
feel like, to me, I am excited for her. And it's not like I'm like, damn, I didn't get that. I'm just really happy for her.
Genuinely
and
happy.
I think, and I want her to succeed. So, I mean, I would mentor again, but I'm not giving up Val. So.
No. There will be no parting of the ways here. So where can people find you? Instagram handles, I think, are usually a good way for people to connect. What's your Instagram handle for anybody who wants to connect and follow you guys?
Mine is the Jodiva, which was an accident, but it is now me. So if you see my license plate,
Jodi, yes.
Jodiva, the Jodiva.
And mine is Val Ovalle .real estate. So yeah, my last name is Ovalle. A lot of people think it's Val Oval, which is pretty catchy. So yeah, she mentioned Latina in Loudon, and I had thought like Val sells Virginia, Val Oval. So, but it's Val Ovalle .real estate on Instagram.
We can definitely play with that. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you being on today and sharing all the things.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast. Click subscribe to be notified every Wednesday when our latest episode is released, and be sure to check out our group on Facebook.